Hey everybody, this is Jeremy from Gadgetel, and today I want to show you the Huawei Ascend D1 Quad XL. Say that one more time. Huawei Ascend D1 Quad XL. This smartphone is released by Huawei, and I believe it's available in some parts of Asia, but it is not available in the United States yet. And I'm not too sure when it'll come to the United States, but I do have a review unit here, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about it ahead of the full review. So once you open up the box, you usually get the standard stuff, and that's no exception here. You're just going to get the Huawei branded charger along with the appropriate USB cable, and also you're going to get a pair of Huawei branded earbuds, which is something that we usually don't see in smartphones anymore. Usually you just get the charger, but you get the earbuds as well, so that's pretty cool. So we move the box out of the way, and here is the phone right here. Let's just turn it on so you can take a quick look at it. This is a 4.5 inch 1280 by 720 resolution display. So this is a high definition display. On the inside, powering this bad boy, is a Huawei K3 V2 quad core processor. So it's not a Qualcomm processor, it's not an NVIDIA Tegra 3 processor. This is Huawei's own in-house quad core processor. It also comes with gig of RAM. Dolby 5.1 surround sound is indicated on the back right here. And it also has features such as Bluetooth 3.0. There is a 8 megapixel camera on the back that can shoot 1080p video, and in the front is a 1.3 megapixel camera that can shoot 720p video. So let's just go over a little bit of the hardware here. Now it's solid black and it's a little bit thick. It's not terribly thick, but I'm guessing that because of the battery inside probably lends to the thickness of this phone. I believe the battery size is a 2600 milliampere hour battery, which is where the XL in its name came from. I'm not too sure how well the battery actually is in this phone, since it is using Huawei's own quad-core processor, so not really fair to compare it to the likes of a Qualcomm, Texas Instruments, or NVIDIA processor, because you're just not too sure about how it manages power in that regard. So you see up on the top on the left, you have your charging port here. It's not on the bottom. It's not on the bottom left like we see in a lot of other phones. The 3.5 millimeter headphone jack is on the top. Power button is on the right. Only thing on the side is the volume up and down switch. No dedicated camera button. Flip it over to the back. It's your Huawei branding, and it may look like a solid black glossy cover on the camera, but it's actually textured. It's not quite a matte finish, but if you can hear, it is a little bit grippy there, and it's pretty good because it feels good while holding it, and it prevents it from sliding all over the place. So if you have a phone, you don't have a case, and you find yourself dropping it because it's so slippery, you won't have to worry about this with this phone. It does have a SD card slot, which is underneath the battery cover, along with the SIM card slot. And in this international version that is unlocked, if you are on AT&T or T-Mobile and you have a SIM card, you plop that inside of here, and you should get service, 3G service, or if you're in an area that supports HSPA plus, excuse me, for T-Mobile, then you should be able to get those speeds as well. Now this phone does run Android 4.0 Ice Cream Sandwich. It's not completely stock, but it is mostly stock. We can see as we turn it on right here, and how this unlocking interface is not standard in Ice Cream Sandwich. It is something that Huawei decided to throw in there. And you have the ability to move up when you want to take a call, down to access the camera, left to go to your messages, or right to just unlock the phone altogether. So when we unlock the phone here, this is pretty much the standard Ice Cream Sandwich user interface right here. There are some exceptions. It does come with the AccuWeather widget, which is right up here, that Huawei decided to put on the device. We scroll through the home screens. There's the standard power management widget and some more pre-installed applications that Huawei has decided to put on here, and stock Android applications as well. So you can see just from right here, it has the consistent Google search bar at the top, is pretty much ice cream sandwich for the most part. And we go into the app menu here, you'll see that it's also mostly stock Android, with the exception of a few added apps such as All Backup here, App Installer, that's a Huawei thing, the call log. It came with Chrome pre-installed, which is pretty different, because I believe that Android 4.1 devices come with Chrome pre-installed, but it came pre-installed on this as well. Also, a flashlight application, I believe, is Huawei's file manager, which I personally don't mind, because I do think that most Android devices should just come with a file manager, because you're going to have to dig into those files eventually, so it's good to already have that on board. Standard Google stuff, Google Maps, Messenger, Local, the regular messaging app, Google Play Movies, Google Play Books, all that stuff is there. More Huawei apps, the security guard, which is pretty useful. It allows you to just basically beef up the security of your device, so you're able to blacklist and whitelist phone numbers. Someone's calling you, you don't want to talk to them, you can blacklist them. You can add more password protection to your device. You can encrypt files, so that's pretty useful there. And some things that I installed on here as well. Like I installed tweet lanes and Twitch TV and speed test. But for the most part, it is all stock Android, and so are the widgets. Most of these widgets are also still stock Android, with the exception of just a few things such as Music Plus. That is not standard with the Google. My FM, that's also not standard with Google. But by and large, it is basically a stock Android experience. If we can go into the settings here and just scroll down so you can check out what version of Android is running, is Android 4.0.4, and that is ice cream sandwich. And also looking at the menus, the menu structure is pretty much the same as you will find in any other ice cream sandwich device, stock ice cream sandwich device, with the exception of the sort of multicolored icons here. That's usually not something that Google does, but it is here, and it doesn't take away from the device at all. Now, here's one thing that Huawei did decide to add to the Ascend D1 Quad XL that's not standard. They pretty much created their own home screen replacement experience. Similar to what you'll see with something like Go Launcher or Nova Launcher, one of the many third-party Android launchers in Google Play. If you press the menu button here, you'll see 3D Home. And when you go to that, it boots up a different home screen that utilizes 3D graphics. Now, when I say 3D, I don't mean something like glasses free 3D like you'll find like on the Nintendo 3DS or even 3D that you would have to use glasses for. What they really mean is more like a polygonal 3D effect. So you see, when I turn to the next page, you can kind of see a 3D cubing effect when I do that. And also, when you go into the app menu, which all these icons at the bottom are also different, when you go into the app menu here, even though you still scroll from left to right, it makes that cubed 3D effect as well. And it adds some other features inside the app drawer, such as being able to create a folder right inside of the app drawer if that's something that you want to do. Let's just cancel that. And the icons do seem to be a little bit bigger, but the main thing here is just the 3D effect. Now, the 3D effect, I do feel, has not quite optimized for this device. Even though it is a quad-core device, when you try to scroll through at any reasonable amount of speed, you may be noticing a little bit of lag here and there. Go into the app menu. Now you notice just a little bit of a delay in between some things that I'm doing, and sometimes it hangs just a bit, and that tells me that this 3D Home isn't quite optimized for this device. Not quite a knock against the power of the processors, but it really doesn't matter what your hardware is if your software isn't all that good. So once again, just kind of notice the Notice the slight, not so smooth scrolling experience, but when I go right back to 2D home, all that changes. You see, it's much smoother when I do that. Go into the app menu, much smoother as compared to 3D home. And you can definitely see the difference there. So what I would tend to do is just stick with the 2D home, the 2D home launcher, because not only is it stock Android, it also performs a bit better. Alright, so we just go into the stock web browser here that is not Chrome. Boots this up, and you just go to a random website that I was on, 9to5 Google, and let's just go to like CNN.com. This stock browser I found, let's move to the desktop site. I found the stock browser to be, you know, pretty good. I don't have any major complaints about it. I think that it runs quite smoothly, and it's not moving to the desktop site like I told it to. That's weird. Let's just try another website. Yeah, let's just go to Gadgetel. We're gonna go to Gadgetel.com, and from there we'll request the desktop site on Gadgetel. And here we go. Yeah, so I found the stock web browser to, you know, pretty good. Like, it's pretty smooth. The website is still loading, and you see I'm just kind of just flying across here, and the pinch to zoom also works pretty darn well. Compliments of the quad-core processor, perhaps a good stock web browser. You know, whatever the case may be, I do find the stock browser to be pretty good. The font, however, is a little bit, it looks a little bold, and that kind of goes across the entire phone. I've noticed that some of the font for headlines for some reason has this emboldened look. Not a really big fan of the emboldened look, but it's really no big deal. But as long as the performance is good, then everything is fine. And let's go back home. Now, since this is a 720p HD display, that means that, you know, looking at videos on YouTube and whatnot can look quite well. So I'm just going to go to a 720p YouTube video. This one about this turtle here, and although that it probably, I'm pretty sure it will not show up on the actual camera about how nice it looks, but I can tell you, very nice screen here. It almost sort of pops out at you, not like a 3D type of effect, but, you know, just very clean and crisp, and very nice screen. You see in YouTube right there, it is running in HD, and the sound I also found to be pretty darn good. So we can just go to, let's say, this For the Birds HD video. Let's turn up the sound so you can see how loud it is using the Dolby Digital Plus technology. Let's scroll ahead a little bit. Good sound coming out of this device, I must say. And once again, the picture also very good. Later on, I'm going to take a 1080p video of this, but so far, from what I've seen, the 1080p video and the picture quality has been quite nice. Just to take a look at some of the camera features here, you can pull this drawer out and have access to some different settings. You can take group photos, you can take HDR photos, burst photos, panoramic photos, low light photos. You know, it's pretty basic stuff. So if I want to take a burst photo here, let me just pull out the box here. And if I want to take a picture of the box, it has autofocus and manual focus. I think I've set it to manual focus. And when I take a picture, you see that it has taken several photographs. So all these were taken in that bird shot. I'm going to have to delete every last one of those so it won't take up any space. But if we just want to change to a single photo, and I want to take a picture of the box again, pretty decent speed shutter. Also a variety of filters that you can apply, Instagram-ish. So you have your antique, Loma warm, negative, mono, emboss. Just basic filters that you have seen before, I am quite sure. You can also apply some face filters. So when you're using the front facing camera, or if you're taking a picture of someone else, you have all these different effects that you can make people look silly. And it uses your face recognition from that. So that's also a neat feature if you're into that kind of thing. And also, just basic settings here. Just looking at the basic settings, it reminds me of the camera application in an HTC device. In fact, there's a few things on this phone that reminds me of HTC devices. Not only that, but there's also a flashlight application that reminds me of the flashlight application that you will find on HTC devices. And also, just due to the red border around the camera and around the front grille here, kind of reminds me of HTC's Beats phones. I'm not implying anything, I'm just saying that that's what it reminds me of. So yeah, that's just the first look at the Huawei Ascend D1 Quad XL. Once again, not too sure if this phone will come to America, or when it will come to America, or what carriers it'll be available on. But if you wanted to purchase this phone, you would have to import it. Huawei is a Chinese company, so you would have to most likely import it from there. And you got an AT&T T-Mobile SIM card, pop it in, you should be good to go. No 4G LTE, so that's just something to keep in mind. I do not believe that you can get 4G LTE on this device. And yeah, so far feels good in the hand. The screen looks quite well, and I'm just going to take the camera through its paces and come back with a full review in about a week or so. So until next time, I'm Jeremy from Gadgetel, and I'll see you next time.